Assalamu alaikum, inshallah you're well guys. So today I'm going to speak about a question that's often asked of me on Instagram, but it's also appeared on my YouTube channel a few times, and that is, how do you socialize without going to the pub? Now some of you may be a bit confused, what's the issue with going to the pub? Well, you guys know that Muslims don't drink alcohol, but the thing that you may not be aware of is that we can't be around alcohol either. So things such as going to the pub, being at a gathering where alcohol is being served, or even having a meal at a restaurant where alcohol is served on the table is a big no-no. And in my experience, I've also worked with people from different beliefs and cultures who won't go to the pub for a wide range of reasons, and that can vary from simply they don't drink, so they don't see any point in going, or they have seen problems with alcohol within their family life or with friends, so they don't go as a matter of principle. And the issue for people who don't go to the pub is that they feel that they may be missing out on a socializing opportunity. Because going to the pub is synonymous with the office environment, people may feel that they're missing out on developing relationships, getting into the good books with their managers, and ultimately improving their career opportunities. But before I talk about some of the alternative ways to socialize and build those relationships, is the problem actually that big? Now, when I was a trainee about 10 years ago, going to the pub was a weekly event. So I remember there'd always be an open invite to go to the pub on a Friday evening after work. And normally these events would be attended by people up to manager level. You wouldn't really expect to see senior leadership there. They would only turn up to the pub on an occasion, maybe around Christmas. Nowadays, however, I'd say going to the pub definitely isn't as popular as before. I'd say people go now on occasion. So maybe someone's birthday or a particular celebration. Someone may have joined the office, left the office, or like I say, around Christmas. And there's a few reasons for that. Now, firstly, the big one is COVID. So with a lot more people working from home or adopting hybrid working, there's not many instances where everyone from your team or department will be in the office. So actually, if you've got half your team working from home and half your team in the office, people don't see as much benefit in going to the pub. And on top of that, companies have switched their focus to mental health, well-being, maintaining a good work-life balance. So where before you may have felt pressurized to go to the pub to build these relationships, now I'd say people are more confident in saying, no, I can't go to the pub because I need to go and attend a family event, or I need to go and pick up my kids from school. So although I accept that the drinking culture, going to the pub still exists, I don't think it's as popular now as it was before. And even if you work in an environment where you're still expected to go to a pub or you're being invited to a pub, don't let it faze you. Why? Because there's plenty of other opportunities to socialize. You shouldn't sacrifice your religion or your beliefs to go and attend the pub. So one of the ways to socialize outside of going to the pub is by taking part in extracurricular activities. So I made this a personal goal of mine that in every organization I've worked at to date, I've always taken part in something extracurricular, whether that's playing football or cricket with others in my team or department, whether it's fundraising for a particular charity, or even if it's taking part in graduate and school leaver recruitment events. The thing I like most about extracurricular activities is that you get exposure to people at different levels in your organization. So it's not just necessary that if you're a trainee and you're taking part in graduate or school leaver recruitment events, you're only going to get exposure to other trainees. You may go to an event with a manager as an example. And even if you don't find a club or activity that suits you, set one up, because the chances are there are going to be other people who are interested in that activity as much as you. The second thing you can do, which I'm very big on, is networking. So this is something I encourage my direct reports to do. Go and meet new people. It's something I should be doing. And the good thing about networking is it doesn't always have to be with senior leaders. So you can go in and book time with maybe a manager or a trainee in another team and just be like, hey, I want to know what you do. If you're a trainee, there are added benefits to networking. Firstly, no one expects you to know anything, so it's much easier. Whereas if you're a manager like me, you've been around for a while. If I go in and book in time with someone and say, hey, I want to know what you do, they may be like, shouldn't you know that already? And secondly, it shows great initiative. Where more senior people are expected to have their own network, as a trainee, your main priorities are to pass your exams and learn on the job. So if you're going out of your way to build a network, that's definitely going to look good. And thirdly, probably the most obvious is through work. You're going to be working with people for over 40 hours a week. So take time out to ask people how they're doing, how their weekend was. Take an interest in their interests. And most importantly, make sure you're contributing to a good working environment. Through work, I've done my fair share of late nights. And when there's late nights, there's always food on offer. And I'd use that as an opportunity to have dinner, catch up with people on a more personal level, talking about things other than work and building good relationships. These can be good opportunities to explain why you don't go to the pub and you'll find that people are very understanding. Or you can do the opposite, not really focus on socializing, and what you'll find is that people will assume, oh, that person's just antisocial, that's why they don't go to the pub. It's not right. We know that. It's definitely not right, but we know that unconscious bias exists and it's natural for people to assume. Now, some of you may be thinking that COVID doesn't help the situation. How am I going to take part in extracurricular activities? And I definitely agree, it doesn't help, but don't let it become an excuse. You can still catch up with people over Teams. You can find out who from your department lives near you. Maybe catch up over lunch with them. And if your office is open, I always recommend going into the office as much as possible because senior leaders will be in. So if you're one of a few people who's in the office, it's going to make you more visible. Inshallah, I'll leave it there, guys. A quick summary. Yes, the drinking culture may be big. Yes, there may be pressures in going to the pub, but don't fall for those pressures. There are plenty of other ways to socialize. And as always, any questions or queries, please feel free to comment below or message me on Instagram.